She used to reschedule dinner around it without ever asking why it happened at all. Beatrix Solomon Nwachukwu had managed a daycare center for 10 years before scaling back to part-time when her second child, Elio, was born, and she considered herself unusually well-versed in toddler routines. Every child had quirks. Every household developed strange little rhythms. She assumed her dog's new evening habit was simply one more of those. Their mixed-breed rescue, Cassius, had started a few weeks after Elio began walking, planting himself squarely in the entryway every evening at almost exactly 6 o'clock, the precise time Elio liked to toddle toward the front door to help greet whoever came home. Cassius wouldn't growl, wouldn't bark. He would simply sit, immovable, directly in Elio's path, refusing to budge no matter how the toddler pushed at his side or squealed in frustration. Beatrix chalked it up to Cassius wanting attention at that specific hour, or perhaps some instinct tied to the sound of the garage door. She'd managed enough toddlers to know that sometimes behavior didn't need a deeper explanation. By the second week, the pattern sharpened. Cassius wasn't just blocking the door, he specifically blocked it hardest on days when Elio's father, Augustin, was running late from work, and the house was quieter, dimmer, the porch light not yet triggered by dusk. That detail would matter. She didn't know that yet. The third week, Cassius began doing something new during his evening post, pressing his body flush against the door itself, ears swiveling toward the street, occasionally letting out a low, focused huff aimed at the gap beneath the frame. Beatrix's older daughter, Fenwick, home from school and doing homework at the kitchen table, noticed it happen 3 evenings running and said what had been forming unspoken in the house. He's not blocking Elio from the door. He's blocking the door from Elio. Beatrix dismissed it gently at first. 10 years running a daycare had taught her that dogs developed odd fixations around routine, and this felt like exactly that. She had no framework for the dog is worried about what's outside, so she filed it under harmless quirk and kept ushering Elio around Cassius each evening with a laugh. That Thursday, right at 6, with Augustin's car running unusually late and dusk settling heavier than usual, Cassius didn't just block the door. He began scratching at the base of it with real urgency, whining, glancing back at Beatrix with an intensity she'd never seen from him. Beatrix's daycare-honed instinct for reading a room finally caught up to what her dog had been telling her for 3 weeks. She looked out the side window instead of opening the door outright and saw a car idling at the curb she didn't recognize. Engine running, headlights off, parked directly in front of their unlit porch. She called Augustine first, then, at his urging, the non-emergency police line. The responding officer, Deputy Marisol Odiel Finch, ran the plate and confirmed what the neighborhood had quietly been dealing with for weeks. A string of attempted break-ins targeting homes with unlit porches at dusk, homes where a predictable evening routine made the timing easy to study from the street. Whatever made you check that window instead of opening the door, Deputy Odiel Finch said, that's exactly the instinct that keeps a situation like this from becoming something worse. Beatrix sat with that sentence on the porch steps for a long time after the car finally pulled away. Cassius blocking the entryway every evening at 6. Not a quirk tied to the garage door. He was reading something outside that only became a pattern once she looked for it. The scratching, the whining, the huff toward the gap beneath the frame. Not separation anxiety. A dog trying to translate a threat he had no words for. 10 years running a daycare and the safety instinct she trusted most had been standing in her entryway the entire time on 4 legs, refusing to let a toddler walk into something she couldn't yet see. If you're the kind of person who believes animals notice things before we do, subscribe. We post a new story like this every week. Beatrix started leaving the porch light on a timer the very next day. Cassius still met them at the door every evening at 6, but softer now, tail loose, the tension gone from his shoulders. Has your dog ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that did? Tell us in the comments below. The attempted break-ins in the neighborhood stopped within the month, after 2 arrests traced back to the same idling car. Cassius, evening after evening, still sat by that door at 6, not guarding against anything anymore, just watching, the way he always had. If these stories matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Next week's story is about a dog who refused to let a toddler nap through an entire afternoon, and turned out to be the only one who noticed why.